In the outskirts of Imali town is this farmland of thousands and thousands of acres of the pigeon pea plant. Now this particular variety is the 554 and the 557, the medium duration pigeon pea plant variety, and it's most favorable because it takes only 6 months to grow. Now the last harvest was in February. The next one is expected to be in July of this year. And with 19 scientists in the East and Southern Africa region, ICRISAT's mandate in Kenya is to develop improved varieties of pigeon peas, as we have seen, as well as finger millet, pearl millet and sorghum.
It is demand-driven research. You cannot address your own problems. Yeah. We are addressing the problem of the farmer. So initially there are reports and there are meetings and all these things, and farmer meetings to identify really what the farmer's demand is.
In collaboration with the Kenya Agricultural Research Institute, ICRISAT breeds improved plant varieties in line with the agroecologies of certain regions, in that way working with the elements of nature to bring out the best, unlike the genetically modified organisms. Breeding work here in Kiboko in the county of Makueni focuses on plants that would thrive in dry lowland areas such as a pigeon pea plant. For crops that do well in the subhumid environment such as finger millet and sorghum, ICRISAT carries out its work in Alupe, Busia, while in Lanet and Kabete, focus is given to cool highland crops.
What we do is development of varieties, then we test them for adaptation and we do selection. All this is aimed at productivity enhancement or increase, adaptation in those agroecologies, and for specific end uses.
But when you look at what the farmers...
And the various varieties are used first for food, since most of the farmers practice small-scale subsistence farming, secondly as feed for their livestock, and also for sale, and this is where ICRISAT tries to link up the farmers to other stakeholders.
Already there are farmers who are linked to the brewers direct, the Kibwezi, they have just harvested the crop. That's already on. They are moving into Tanzania, and also Tanzania breweries is contracting large farmers to produce sorghum grain for brewing.
The demand and economic potential of such endeavors is immense, but there is a deficient capacity.
We talked about sorghum being wanted in Taiwan for winemaking, and they're talking of tons and so on. But the major hurdle there is lack of information. Yes. The problem with small-scale farmer is that you will be producing 40, somebody else will be producing 20, another one and so on. So grades and standards fail.
But there are some trends that give a positive outlook for the days to come for farmers of these crops.
The Kambas are very hardworking, but the policy is towards a crop that 3 out of 5 years fails. But those 3 years that have failed, you'll bring food aid. So why should they change? You're not going to allow them to die. It's a price you cannot pay, and therefore you're keeping them in insecurity. Do we think we have got an alternative? It doesn't have to be sorghum, millet, pigeon pea and so on, but what are the alternatives? We need to think about it.
This is the crop that people are going for because of the change in it and the development of diseases like diabetes. So this is pushing or pulling the demand and pushing the consumption of these crops.
Mark Masai, NTV.